Hey everyone, it's me again, the guy on this YouTube channel. I have seen a lot of people wanting to have basically Persona 5 right here on the Switch. And luckily we are getting a Persona 5 game on the Switch with Persona 5 Strikers, which is not like the core RPG experience that people are wanting, but instead it's like a spin-off, a warrior style game that is kind of like the sequel to the original Persona 5, but there is actually a Persona like RPG on the Switch that I do not see a lot of people talking about, and I recently played through that game and I really enjoyed it, so I just wanted to make a video about it. So what is that game? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Sharp FE. Encore. I hate that name. So you might be thinking to yourself, what is this game? It's a weird game. It's a weird game. It's supposed to be a crossover with Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei. Shin Megami Tensei, of course, being the uh, original series where Persona came from. But you might not figure it out because, well, the title really doesn't say it. Yeah, I don't like the title. That is the first thing I do not like about this game. Is Tokyo Mirage Sessions hashtag FE Encore. The hashtag FE if is supposed to be like Fire Emblem, but you would not get that from just two words, and it's just such a weird like title for this. I would have named it like Shin Megami, like Fire Emblem, a Tokyo Mirage story, or something like. Hey, it's kind of related to one of these franchises, and maybe include like the Shin Megami Tensei there somehow too. But it's not a really good title, so I don't blame you if you have not heard of this or why you do not think it's very much like Persona. And while it is also a Fire Emblem game, it is, from just the gameplay perspective, a lot more like Persona. And one of these factors why I think so, it is the combat of the game. And the combat is very much like a traditional Persona combat, where you have a turn-based uh, battles, and you use even like the same attacks, like Zio, the lightning attacks, and Magi, the fire attacks, and so on and so on. And what actually new to this one is the Fire Emblem characters. Instead of using personas, you use mirages, which are your Fire Emblem spirit buddies that you might be seeing on screen when I show you like battle footage of this game. And with those Fire Emblem spirit buddies, they also bring like the Fire Emblem weapon triangle into the game. So you can use sword attacks, you can use lance attacks, you can use bow attacks while fighting, in addition to those like traditional Persona attacks like Magi and Zio that I talked about. So it's refreshing having played Persona, and I do like this combat style much more than I do mainline Persona games. And the thing that separates these two the most are in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, or I'm just gonna call it TMS for short from now on. In that game, there are sessions which are special moves, and they can also be like really big combos. Do you remember that part in Persona games where you're just like battling and then you get like a good hit against the opponent, and you get like this text saying like one more, and your party member comes and deals an additional bit of damage to your opponent? Well, they do this as well, but they go way more insane with it, and you can have like combos up to like 16 or 18. I think 18 was my like highest combo of having that, just characters coming over again and just doing like chip damage all over and over again, and it got really insane. and it even led me to like uh, very late into the game having like me just winning the battle in one turn because the combos were just so insane, and I just love that about the game. It's just so fun. The combat is much more fun than in mainline Personas. At least from what I have played only like from 3 to 5. So 3 portable, 4 golden, and the original 5 that I just threw out. So that. uh, but yeah, I enjoy the combat much, much more than I do the regular Persona combat. You can't capture or use more than one uh, Mirage, unlike you could do with Persona 5. Joker could have like many shadows on his team. That's only one, and you can't fuse them or do anything sort of that. But there is still this place called the Bloom Palace, which is kind of like the Velvet Room in Persona games, which is now run by Tiki instead of the hot, sexy man that is Igor in Persona games. It's run by a little child dragon, and there you can perform Unity rituals, which, other than being a very accurate description of a game jam, is also like how you manage your mirages. You can give them new abilities, new items, and you can also perform class changes, which comes from Fire Emblem. So you can change your knights to like a unicorn knight or something like that, and your lord to a high lord. I do not remember how class changes go by heart in Fire Emblem, but I will be showing you footage of that right now. So yeah, very good, very much like Persona in combat, but I think it is actually much better. And another thing that is very similar to Persona is like the story beats. In Persona games, you usually are like a group of teenagers and they have an access to this other world that is linked to ours, and that other world is like cause for a lot of weird things happening in the real world. That is also the case for TMS. And in this case, the story opens with like a theater performance where one of the main characters, called Tsubasa, is watching the performance, and everyone else in that theater goes missing except for her. Cut to 5 years later, when Tsubasa is like an audition for to be an idol or something like that, and it goes bad, and suddenly the place is attacked by these mirages, and Tsubasa is kidnapped. Thankfully, our main character, Itsuki, I think it was called, the blue-haired guy here. Of course, he's blue-haired guy. It's a Fire Emblem game. But yeah, he goes to rescue Tsubasa from this other world that is called Idolosphere. And in there, while trying to rescue Tsubasa, Itsuki awakens to his Perfoma. Not Persona, Perfoma. And Perfoma is like this life energy that is very high with creative people. And the Mirages kidnap like very creative and artistic people to like get all of their Perfoma energy. And there, Itsuki awakens to his Perfoma and can purify a mirage that happens to be Chrom from Fire Emblem, and then rescues Tsubasa, and then Tsubasa also awakens to her Perfoma, and I think she gets Sida. I don't remember how to pronounce the name, it was really weird. But it's from the first Fire Emblem games, like Marth's wife or something. And there the story goes on. They explore, like, get more friends to join like the exploration of the idolosphere, and there will be like more mirage attacks, and they're gonna stop them, and it goes from there. Very similar to Persona, but unfortunately in Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I feel like the story gets all of the very interesting parts uh, over very quickly, because one of the people that went missing in like the theater disappearance fiasco was Tubasa's sister, and she gets like rescued pretty early in the game, and they don't like raise the stakes going on from there for quite a while. So the story pacing isn't like the best, but it's like very relaxed. It's very light on the story. It doesn't deal with any like dark or mature themes like Persona 5 does, with like sexual abuse, violence, and corruption and murder and all those kinds of things. But this game does not so much, and I do like it. I have played a lot of like very very serious games recently, so this was a nice change of pace to have such light on story but still very enjoyable. And for like other narrative elements, Persona games usually have like social links or like confidants as they are called in Persona 5, but here we have instead like side stories, which are like small story pieces for each of the characters. There are multiple for each, and you get to know the characters much better, and they get into like fun situations, and you get rewards, very good rewards. You get like new special attacks or stuff like that from completing these side stories, and they are very enjoyable. They are very, very enjoyable. There are still a few things that separates TMS from like classic modern Persona games. And again, by modern I mean from 3 to 5, because that's what most people are familiar with, and that's what I have played. I think it might be different for Persona 1 and 2 and 2, but one of the things missing is like the duality of gameplay, where Persona 5 and the other ones, you have a mixture of like this high school social simulation type of game and the dungeon crawling RPG game. But TMS is more pure RPG experience as a game, and I think it does work. It definitely sees that they made improvements to like combat and gameplay, and it's important to remember that this game is a re-release, the Switch version, and the original came out in 2015. So it is actually an older game than uh, Persona 5 over here. uh, so it doesn't have all of the quality of life improvements. It's very much like a middle stage between uh, Persona 4 and 5, with some elements of like 1 and 2, with not having like the social simulation aspect. What's also missing is like the calendar element. Persona 3 to 5 have this like limited time. You have to decide carefully what you want to do each day. You can only do a certain amount of things in the game, and you have like certain deadlines that you have to reach the end of the dungeon or rescue someone by this and this day, or you get a game over. But this does not have any of that. This does not have a calendar, which is a bit of a shame. I do like the calendar mechanic in uh, Persona 5, and even in Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out in uh, around the same time as Persona 5. I do not remember exactly, but Fire Emblem has also gotten the calendar mechanic since, but you will not find it in this game. And if you just like Atlus, there are also a bunch of like cool costumes for you to get in this game. Most famously, which one I'm using in this thumbnail, is like the Joker costume for the main hero. And there are also other really cool ones. You get like from Atrian Odyssey, Persona Q, you get from Shin Megami Tensei, and also from Fire Emblem Three Houses one costume, which is very exciting. I think it's actually in the Yeah, you can barely see it in the back. Why do you have Xenoblade in here? Oh, well, weird. But yeah, from like narrative elements to combat, this is very much like a Persona game. The characters are nice, the music is just amazing. A lot of Persona games have amazing music, and this one too, being about like idols and the entertainment industry, has a lot of good music. I would really recommend anyone who is a fan of the Persona series to give this game a shot. It's for the Switch and for Wii U, so well, you probably do not have a Wii U, so get it on the Switch. And if you Google this game, you will eventually find like headlines about the censorship controversy that this game had. It removed a few like swimsuit costumes and this one DLC chapter from the game, which is unfortunate, and I do not understand why they did that. But having played the game, actually, it doesn't like take anything away from the experience, and you can actually see the characters wear the swimsuits if you want to see that anyways in the game. So it's really bizarre that they took them out. And if you are really passionate about censorship things but you still would like to experience this game, you can always like buy the game used. So Nintendo or Atlus, they don't get the money from that, and buying the game used is just good in general. But those are my thoughts on Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I just wanted to make a video because I think this game is really underrated and it's really fun. And I know a lot of people are fans of Persona, and I would like to get more people to play this game. It's really fun. I really recommend it. Please remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about this game. I will try to answer every comment there is. Because I'm a starting YouTuber, I have nothing else to do. But yeah, please support me. It helps with the algorithm a lot. But that said, it was great talking to you. Have a good day and goodbye.